everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Old Pappy back with another one. Thanks for tuning in. And so here we are with my test server video, and it was supposed to be about the big buff to the NUCLEONs, the ATOMIZERs, and the QUARKERs, because they did get a buff and they're better now. But when I went on the test server, and maybe I am on crack, maybe I'm crazy, but it seemed to me that the Hawk, billed as the Titan Killer, has actually got a nerf, not a buff. I'm kind of shocked because normally on the test server, whenever they're introducing a new robot, they kind of buff it and buff it and buff it, right, until it's super strong, and then they release it out there and we all want to get it. We're all like kids at a candy store. But when I played this weekend, I actually found that they actually had nerfed the flying speed. Now maybe I'm crazy. Maybe Pappy's just into the funny stuff, but you tell me. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to take a look at these weapons, the Atomizer, NUCLEON, and QUARKER. There's going to be some gameplay at the end. But what I'm going to do at the very beginning here is I'm going to take a look at some side-by-side comparisons of the Hawk flying in the air, and then we're going to look at what happened this weekend on the test server. So look how fast I'm going. Hey, I'm about as fast as the June, the White Dragon, was before their flying speed was nerfed. I'm able to get up in the air, soar across the battlefield. The flight speed isn't super long, is it, right? But take a look here. So left-hand side is the former test server. This is the current test server. Look at how agile I am. I'm able to zip and zap on the left-hand side, and I'm going backwards, I'm going forwards. I'm really kind of just juking and jiving, just like Ali against Frazier, eh? But on the right-hand side, it's kind of like lumber up into the air. Let's take a look again. Look, and I got this weird little shield around me now, too, on the right-hand side. But it's just kind of floating around. And look at the left-hand side, how fast I'm able to dodge and zip and zap. You can probably miss me if you're trying to hit me with missiles and stuff like that. I don't think my eyes are deceiving me. I actually think that the Hawk speed was nerfed. I'm shocked, man. I'm shocked. I'm totally amazed by this. I can't believe it happened. I would love to be able to, drop me a line in the comments. Maybe people know more about this. I'm just going straightly by my perception, and also by how it felt when the bot handled. I mean, look how slow I'm going now. I'm just kind of inching around. This is the live test server from this weekend. So I have the Atomizers. No, I don't. I have the QUARKERs and I have the NUCLEONs here. And all right, so beyond the Hawk and how flabbergasted I am about how slow it is now, let's just see if these weapons are any better. Now, what did they do? Because I did a video heading into the weekend saying, is it going to be a buff or a nerf, right? I mean, that was the question. Well, the answer is it is a buff. But it's a funny little buff, isn't it? Because they did not give the actual weapons extra damage. That's what happens a lot of times. If a machine gun does 750 damage at level 8, they'll make it do 820 and say, well, maybe that'll solve the problem. But what they did this time around was they actually played with the mechanics of the weapons that causes the weapon to overheat. Now, of course, just a 5-second little recap for anybody who's never used these weapons before. I'm pretty sure everybody has at least tried them now. But they basically have unlimited ammo. They fire forever, but the longer you fire them, they start to overheat, and then literally you can't hit anything. You can't hit anything with them. I mean, safest place to be in front of these weapons when they're overheated is directly in front of them. You get what I'm saying here? So anyway, what did they do? Well, they actually increased the accuracy by allowing the overheat time to stay the same, but it stays more accurate for longer. So it takes longer for the dispersion to start to take effect. It takes longer for the bullets to start firing wildly. And there's various percentages increases that they've done. I think Atomizer got the best buff, and maybe QUARKER, and NUCLEON didn't get quite as much as the others. At least I'm going by how it felt in the game. And it did not feel, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's sure as hell is a lot better than it was, that's for sure. But it didn't feel like it got as much of a buff as the Atomizer or the QUARKER. So are they better? Sure, 100% now. I'm really keen to see when this comes to the live server. I'm really keen to see how they actually do against the hordes of Ravanas and the hordes of leeches and everybody else out there that aren't using them. Because the real question is, can you go face to face with somebody using cryos, for instance, and come out on top? Certainly, as a mid-range weapon, these weapons are much better now. because they stay accurate for longer. So that means you can hang back around for probably 400 to 450 range, even 350 to 450 range, and still inflict quite a lot of damage. So anyway, kudos to Big Sonic for listening to people who were complaining, because I'm one of them. I think the weapons weren't very good at all and weren't really worth upgrading, but definitely now they're worth upgrading. And so what I'm really keen to see, and this is really a short video, if you want to stick around and watch the end, super cool, but I'm just going to sum up my thoughts right now. So obviously the weapon buffs, I'm for them. The Hawk, mixed feelings, man, mixed feelings, because obviously you want the new robots that come into the game to be strong enough to be super fun, but you don't want them to be so overpowering that it makes your entire hangar garbage as soon as they hit, right? That's something we don't want. So, I think somewhere between the old speed and the new speed is sort of the right speed, if you get my drift. But you know what? At the current speed that it was on the test server this weekend, it sure as heck is not what they call a, quote, Titan killer by far. It's going to be a good bot, don't get me wrong. It'll be fun to use. It's actually a lot more like just a white dragon, except shooting fiery breath. It's shooting this kind of white laser weapon thing. That really is the big difference, and the fact that it carries 2 heavy and 2 lights, right, as opposed to the white dragons that has the 2 heavies. So, maybe it is balanced, and maybe we're just so used to seeing robots that are so overpowered enter the game that maybe when you're presented with a balanced robot, it seems strange to us. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Hope you enjoyed it. Stick around to the end if you want. If not, as always, thanks for the support. Share it with your friends, etc. Like it, all that stuff. And until next time, see you in the battlefield.